Good morning, my fellow yogic travelers. I'm mighty glad to be alive today, and I hope that you are too as we continue to live, laugh, love, learn, linger, live the life we love. It's Friday, so it's my PowerPoint day, and this one's entitled Establishing a Practice. Yoga is like an art form, and one of the things that helps you is have a practice. So let's get right to it. First thing is I want to honor the Divine Mother, the symbol of life, the goddess, the Shakti, Maya, Parvati, Isis, Saraswati, Lakshmi. It doesn't matter under which form you honor it. It's that which gives birth to everything, including all the gods and goddesses. How about that? All right, so what do we do to honor the goddess? Well, first we do is what's called Kaya Sampat, the treasure of the body. As my teacher says, most people are born with this unused capital, and they never probe it. They never tap into the possibilities of what you can find if you went deeper into your own anatomy. So the wealth of the body, well, you got to churn it to bring out the cream. It's lying there fallow. So it's potential, but it has to be turned into something actual for you to see it. And the way to do it is to be enthusiastic. The four types of students: the dull, the average, the keen, and the supremely enthusiastic. That's what you want. You got to get on fire for this stuff, and then it happens really quickly. Now, there are four stages of getting together, as we say. I'm an old cisgender romantic kind of guy. And although these four stages are taken from the pranayama, understanding at the Hatha Yoga Pradipika level, this is about getting to know someone, just scratching the surface, then making an intent endeavor to want to know more about them, then to share more intimate things about you that you're hopefully will not be a deal breaker when the person knows that in some way we're carrying our own woundedness, our own damaged goods, and then eventually the consummation. We choose to be with each other in the most personal and deeply intimate way. Now, it's a done deal. What do you want in yoga? You want to relax. You want to lie back. You want to be able to experience how to be totally happy, if that's possible as a human being. But it's not going to happen if you're uptight. And it certainly doesn't happen for the person who doubts. So live, laugh, love, learn, linger, and don't forget loaf. Take some time to enjoy what's going on instead of just always be moving to something in the future. Now, you practice ars moriendi. It's a phrase from the Renaissance time that means the art of dying. All the way through your life, you have to bring in the shadow, your own shadow, the shadow of other people, life shadows, all the issues, including your own death, which is a shadow that's always behind you. But the idea is, can your life help you unfold your mission? Because if you find what your mission is, there's a part of you that hooks up to it automatically, right? With no extra effort, with zero effort to really be who you are. Although initially it seems like it's very challenging to go against what everybody tells you you should be and when you should be it there. But I love here, death is coming to get you, but the angel got your back. All right, so part of yoga, of course, and all art forms is harmonizing what we would call left brain, right brain synchrony, brain synchrony coherence. How do you fit these things in? And, in the gross way, like when you have a crossword puzzle, you look at the straight edges first, you bring in the border, and then you fit in the other pieces as your own intuition helps you understand the shaping, the color, and how those things fit together. Now, I'm not saying that all of yoga is anti-entropic and that you can just lower your blood pressure, your oxidative stress level, and maybe fend off premature aging. But there are certainly things that we could say that your lifestyle fosters and encourages certain things, or maybe makes it more difficult for you to experience that kaya sampat, the treasure of your body. So be careful what the choices you make. It's going to affect not only your moment to moment, but your aging process. Aha! That's what we want when we practice yoga, to have a breakthrough experience, a sense of felt rightness, a trusting your intuition, the gut check, so to speak. Or as I like to say, no teacher takes you deeper than your heart. So trust that and find a teacher, like Don Juan says, all paths lead nowhere. So at least choose a path that has heart. And then remember, nobody wants to be scolded back into shape. Nobody likes angry rebuke. Nobody likes to be reprimanded. It's very, very hard to love people when you're scolding them. And it doesn't matter whether it's food shaming or body type shaming. language shaming, education shaming, to judge somebody on their comment on their food choices, for instance, and making them feel ashamed of those choices. Even though, do I have some judgments about people who eat caca food all the time and make it tougher both on their own anatomy and eventually on the public health system because they didn't take care of themselves? Sure. But I hope each person would find their own way to make choices that don't humiliate themselves, that don't make them feel inadequate in themselves, that don't make them lose respect for themselves, that don't make them prevents them from honoring themselves. And then when you know how to understand that, you'll be careful not to do it to other people. Now, of course, on the path, you don't do it alone. Satsanga Swargavasa, being with people on the path, is like a little bit of heaven. So giving support, giving approval, giving encouragement, being actively interested and concerned, especially if you're a teacher or mentor, for the success of another person, for their comfort, and to offer them any kind of emotional help whenever they're in distress, even if it only means bearing silent witness. And one of the important things to understand is, oh, let me give you some advice. I advise you not to do that. As John Bradford shares, unasked for advice is a form of abuse. So it's true that typically if people are going to ask you questions, if you're an advisor, you got to give feedback as if you're an expert in a particular field, especially if you develop time to cultivate those skills. So advice is also within the rubric of a teacher who helps you plan or study a plan of action to help bring out the best potential that you have, but if you're asked. And then, of course, just feed people, love them, and don't judge. You never change anybody from your anger. So that's why it says when we intentionally listen with the desire to understand others, offer them loving wishes, and choose to see their limitless potential and not what is wrong with them at this temporary point in time, something happens. What happens is that your own heart is changed. We become the love that we offer other people. And of course, in the end, that's where it's at. And so I hope you have the courage to face these potentially monstrous things, but it'll bring immediacy and clarity. And then later on, you'll feel less regret and feel less stuck if you're willing to take on these big issues, but you do it with gentleness and innocence. And then hopefully it leads you to finding your lineage, finding your connection to your deeper purpose. As I learned from my teacher, there's always a lesson that needs to be learned by your highest ideal. And one of them for me was, you yourself don't know what you're capable of, which keeps me moving on into the unknown with a sense of trust and even joy. And then, as Joseph Campbell says, follow your bliss. Best not do what doesn't flow through you, because pleasure is the tie that binds. Find what you love to do and sink your teeth into that. Have a great day, great weekend. We'll see you next week. Good Vibrations class next Wednesday, 11 to 1. Hope you join us. Go to GabrielHalpern.com and sign up.